Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so here we go again. I guess we're repeating 2022. It's the 2022 midterms all over again. Democrats have been trying all kinds of talking points, nothing has been working. They've tried all kinds of new quirky strategies lately, mostly to no avail, and so I guess we're just transporting back in time with more nonsense abortion fear-mongering. I guess that's gonna be the Democrat trump card. That's the ace up their sleeve. It worked in 2022 to a certain degree. The question is, will it work again? Honestly, I'm not so sure because the temperature has cooled down. A lot of people are seeing through the Democrat fear-mongering, and that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. Democrats, of course, are red in the face like a freaking tomato, raging like a 12-year-old losing in Fortnite. Let's avoid the hyperbole, let's avoid the emotional rhetoric, the propaganda. Let's talk about the facts here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so we're talking about abortion again, mainly because of two key news events. Firstly, there's what happened in Arizona with the state Supreme Court. Let's start off there and we'll slowly move through these topics. So essentially, here's what happened in Arizona. After Roe v. Wade was overturned, Governor Ducey passed a 15-week ban. But what a lot of people didn't catch was that there was an old law, a relic law, that I think was passed back in 1864 that was technically still on the books but was invalidated due to Roe v. Wade passing on a federal level. So now the question was, now that Roe v. Wade is gone, which law stands? Which law is going to be the law of the state? Is it the territorial ban from back in 1864, before Arizona was even a state, or is it the most recent state legislation? Well, the Supreme Court decided, I'm not sure exactly what the logic is, but they decided that the 1864 territorial law supersedes the legislation passed recently, I think in 2022, and so now that has become the law. And as you can probably imagine, an abortion ban from 1864, probably not living up to secular liberal standards. It is an outright total ban on abortion, and of course, as you can expect, leftoids are freaking out. And now here's where we get to the news of the day. Democrats are doing what Democrats do. Even though it's a very weird and obscure situation, they're blaming Republicans. They're trying to pin this on Kari Lake and pin this on Donald Trump, which is completely ridiculous. It's all Republicans' fault. This is what Republicans are doing. They want to make abortion legal in all instances with no exceptions. An interesting argument considering the Arizona Republican Party is technically already on the record with a much more 15-week moderate law with many exceptions. In other words, Democrats are lying. There is no extreme Republican abortion bill that passed. It's the revival of a very old law, but somehow they're trying to pin it on Kari Lake, even though she released a statement today opposing this law from 1864. Kari Lake released a statement on Arizona Supreme Court abortion ruling. In addition to covering, I am the only woman and mother in this race. I understand the fear and anxiety of pregnancy and the joy of motherhood. I wholeheartedly agree with President Trump. This is a very personal issue that should be determined by each individual state and her people. I oppose today's ruling and I am calling on Katie Hobbs and the state legislature to come up with an immediate common sense solution that Arizonans can support. Ultimately, Arizona voters will make the decision on the ballot come November. And so there's a whole lot of hysteria, but you just gotta cut through all of it and openly and honestly understand where people are coming from. You know, Democrats are acting as if they're in shock and horror at what happened in Arizona, but in reality, based on their actions, you can only come to one logical conclusion. Devastated by what's happening in Arizona, they're happy. They're happy that this happened because it gives them a talking point. From their view, it once again allows them to revive the talking point that Republicans are coming after women's rights. Or probably more relevant in the 2024 election, they're making the claim that Donald Trump is coming after abortion rights. Again, complete fake news. It's hysteria. Nonsense propaganda. In fact, Donald Trump just released a statement. It's a 4.5-minute video, so I'll probably cut it as best as I can, but just take a look.
Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. This 50-year battle over Roe v. Wade took it out of the federal hands and brought it into the hearts, minds, and vote of the people in each state. It was really something. Now it's up to the states to do the right thing. Like Ronald Reagan, I am strongly in favor of exceptions for incest and life of the mother.
The Trump stance is a moderate stance. But most importantly, it's a democratic stance. It's interesting coming from the people that are constantly telling us that Donald Trump is the enemy of democracy. It's a very tough issue. You're going to see varying different opinions. But essentially, the Trump stance is that, look, people have different opinions. Let state-level democracy figure it out. That's been the stance basically since day one. That is the reason why Roe v. Wade got overturned. It got kicked back from the Supreme Court back to the states for the issue to then go on the ballot and then for people to elect politicians that they feel represent their views. Are there going to be some, very Republican states, deep red Christian states that are going to pass legislation banning abortion? Absolutely. Is that Trumpian neo-fascism? No, that is literally democracy in action. If California wants to legalize abortion all the way up to 9 months, they can go ahead and present that as an issue to the voters and democratically pass legislation that represents Californian interests. Well, that same standard should apply to places like Alabama now, shouldn't it? It's a very logical, democratic, neutral stance. But of course, the Democrats are taking advantage of the situation to do nothing but fearmonger.
He is allowing 14 states that ban it in all cases, including no exceptions for incest. That's allegedly something that he opposes, but he's letting it happen. And there are 24 states that can't even get a ballot initiative out there.
Trump is supporting 14 states that banned abortion in all cases. That doesn't mean that he supports that legislation. That just means that he supports a state's right to pass their own laws and represent their people and their voters. I don't see how people see right through this propaganda, because that's exactly what it is. It's fear-mongering nonsense. The idea is to paint Trump as extreme, as a threat to women's rights. But he clearly isn't. We know where Trump stands. Trump has been on the record forever opposing a federal ban on abortion, and I think based on things that he said in the past, he lands probably towards a first trimester ban. Oh, so extreme. The Democrats will tell you that's extreme, but it isn't. It actually represents the popular view based on polling data. Take a look at this from the most left-wing of sources, MSNBC.
Move ahead, though, to the second trimester, and that's where public opinion shifts. Now you've only got 34% who say that abortion in that time frame should be legal in most or all cases. You've got 2/3 basically saying it should be illegal in most or all cases. And then you move to the third trimester and you see an even more dramatic movement there. Less than 20% believe abortion in the third trimester should be legal in most or all cases. 8 out of 10 voters saying it should be illegal in most or all cases.
80% want third trimester abortions illegal, and 65% want second trimester abortions illegal. In other words, the middle ground moderate view is to ban this medical process after the first trimester, which I think is anywhere between 13 to 15 weeks. Basically right in line with the Republican legislation that was passed in 2022 in Arizona. But Democrats want to tell you that Republicans in Arizona just banned abortion outright, allowing for no exceptions. They're liars. And once again, the only people who are extreme on this issue, as Trump pointed out very accurately, are the Democrats. They're the ones playing manipulative, emotional games, while at the same time truly holding abhorrent, extreme abortion views.
50 weeks, 75,000 weeks, whatever, how many weeks, it's nobody's business. It's you, your doctor, and God. That's who you have to be conversational to. And it's not mentioned in the Big Ten. I'm just going to say. No. In the Big Ten, it is not mentioned. The commandments? Yeah.
Oh, and I might as well include this flashback as well. Here's one of Biden's top campaign surrogates, Tina Smith, arguing back in 2019 that providing life-saving care to babies born alive after botched abortions is, quote, inappropriate medical treatment.
This bill intimidates providers and forces physicians to provide inappropriate medical treatment, even when it's not in the best interests of the patient or her family. Colleagues, we should treat women with respect. Decisions about women's health care aren't different from decisions about men's health care. So why are we treating women differently? This legislation, if it became law, would put doctors in an untenable position. Do they follow the law, or do they follow their code of professional ethics?
Democrats are the ones who are extreme on this issue, and once again they're lying. What's going on in Arizona isn't this big thing. It's not this big scary thing. We simply saw a very abstract Supreme Court decision reviving a very old law, and I guess we'll have to see where the state goes from here. Once again, let the people of Arizona decide, let democracy play, and stop with all the fear-mongering nonsense propaganda. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.